For years, Ryan Evans quietly worked behind the scenes on counting cars. He didn't say much, but his work shouted. He painted cars in a way no one else could match. Every curve, every line, every detail was flawless. Then one day, he was simply gone. No farewell, no explanation, just gone. So, what really happened to Ryan Evans? Let's find out. Gone without a word. Among all the personalities who have passed through the custom car world, very few left a mark quite like Ryan Evans. He never tried to be the loudest person in the room, that was never his thing. While others revved engines, cracked jokes, and played to the cameras, Ryan stayed in the background, focused, precise, and almost silent. On counting cars, Ryan wasn't just another shop guy. He was the soul of the artwork. Every wild flame job, every intricate skull, every perfect burst of color usually came straight from his hands. Danny, the Count Koker, brought the big energy and larger-than-life charisma, but Ryan brought the finishing touch that made everything unforgettable. They were two sides of the same machine, and together they made magic. That's exactly why, when Ryan disappeared from the screen, people felt it immediately. In one episode he was there, head down, hands steady, airbrushing perfect details onto a motorcycle tank. The next episode, he was gone. No goodbye scene. No final shot of him wiping his hands and walking out. Just silence. For fans who had followed him for more than a decade, it didn't sit right. The shop kept running. Danny still showed up every day. But the man behind the paint had vanished. People started asking questions. Was he tired of the cameras? Did something happen off-screen? Was there drama the show refused to air? There was no official explanation, not from Ryan, not from the production, not from Danny. His Instagram posts slowed down. He stopped appearing at car shows and events. Ryan had always been different. In a world full of noise, he stayed quiet. He never chased the spotlight. Maybe that's exactly why, when it finally got too bright, he simply walked away. Perhaps he needed space. Maybe he was never in it for fame at all. Now he's become something of a mystery. Fans still hold out hope for a return. They still ask about him. His legacy on the show remains untouched. Those insane paint jobs and flawless finishes, those are still his fingerprints all over them. Maybe one day he'll speak. Or maybe he'll just keep creating, far from the cameras, exactly the way he always wanted to. So, what finally made the man behind the paint disappear? We'll get to that in a moment. Stick around. How Ryan got on the ride. Ryan Evans was born in Los Angeles, California. He grew up loving to draw, skateboarding, and anything that moved on wheels. Later he made his way to Las Vegas, where custom cars and bikes were everywhere, and so were the opportunities to do something bold. Ryan never chased fame. He wasn't trying to get on television. Long before cameras ever showed up, Ryan was already painting. People around Las Vegas knew him as the guy who could turn metal into art. His style was clean, highly detailed, and completely unique. He didn't just paint cars, he told stories with color. At that time, Danny, the Count Koker, was running his shop, Count's Kustoms, and occasionally appearing on Pawn Stars. His energy was huge. He loved cars, bikes, music, anything with personality. When the network offered him his own show, Danny said yes, but he knew he needed a strong team. He needed people who could actually build and design, not just for TV, but for real customers. That's when Ryan came into the picture. They had crossed paths before. Las Vegas isn't that big when it comes to custom car people, and Danny had seen Ryan's work. He knew right away Ryan was different. Every design Ryan touched had perfect balance. Every flame, every skull, it all looked like it belonged exactly where it was. So Danny brought him in. At first it was just to help with paint jobs. Then the producers saw how incredible Ryan was, and they liked what they saw. Without ever trying, Ryan became part of the show's rhythm. He wasn't cast like an actor. He was hired like a craftsman. No screen tests. No flashy introductions. He just started showing up, painting, airbrushing, perfecting. Over time, viewers noticed. He didn't talk much, but when he did, it carried weight. People liked him because he was real. Danny brought the rock and roll energy, Ryan brought calm. They balanced each other perfectly. The producers started giving Ryan more camera time. Slowly, fans learned his name. They saw his work and wanted to know more. That's how Ryan ended up on Counting Cars. No big plan. No chase for fame. Just pure talent meeting the right moment. More than just a paintbrush. That was all Ryan ever needed, a paintbrush, to turn an ordinary car into something unforgettable. He was never loud. He was never flashy. He just worked. Paint was his language. Long before the show existed, Ryan had already found his lane. He blended art and machines in a way most people couldn't. His mind was sharp. His eye for detail was sharper. He could fade a flame so smoothly it looked factory-made. His work wasn't just about looking cool, it told stories. When Counting Cars started, it needed more than loud personalities and cool cars. It needed style. And that style came from Ryan. He wasn't brought in to entertain. He was brought in to create. While Danny played the rockstar role, Ryan stayed calm, focused, grounded. No matter how wild the builds got. Ryan's style was quiet but powerful. He didn't need drama to stand out, he let the work do the talking. Flames, skulls, ghost effects, candy paint, he mastered them all. No matter how crazy the idea or how tight the deadline, Ryan delivered. Danny trusted him with the biggest jobs for a reason. He always came through. On camera, Ryan had a look people remembered: flat hat, black gloves, paint-stained hoodie, always locked in, always working. He'd flash a small smile, drop a dry joke, or make a sharp comment right after finishing a perfect design. That became his signature. While others pushed for more screen time, Ryan stayed behind the scenes, by choice. Over time, something shifted. Viewers started watching specifically for the paint jobs. They came for the drama, but stayed for the art. Ryan became a fan favorite without ever trying. People lined up for his autograph at car shows and events. The lines for Ryan sometimes stretched as long as Danny's. Fans brought shirts, helmets, even whole cars, hoping Ryan would paint them too. His work had touched them. His designs carried meaning. Those weren't just cars anymore, they were memories. And that kind of connection can't be faked. What made Ryan special on camera may also be what made staying difficult. He gave everything to his work. Every job was personal. He wasn't chasing fame, he was chasing perfection. Some fans just wanted to meet the man who turned old cars into fine art. He never acted like a celebrity. When people approached him, Ryan was always kind, quiet, and genuinely thankful. Always smiling. But it was clear he wasn't seeking attention. He never had. Ryan, every ride was a canvas. Whether it was a gas tank or a classic muscle car, he treated it like something sacred. The work always mattered more than the fame, that much was obvious, but things began to change. Schedules got tighter. Jobs that once took weeks were now squeezed into days. Some people could adapt. Some could cut corners. Ryan never worked that way. He gave every job his full attention, and that kind of art takes time. Losing that time meant losing part of what made the work feel right. People close to the shop noticed. So did fans. By 2021, something felt off. Ryan appeared less and less on screen. Sometimes he was only in the background, sometimes not at all. The final reveal shots rarely showed his face anymore. Online, fans caught on quickly. Car forums, fan pages, YouTube comments, everyone was asking the same thing: where's Ryan? The show never answered. He simply faded out. When the work stops feeling right for a long time, no one knew exactly why Ryan Evans left counting cars. He didn't speak publicly. The show didn't explain. There was no goodbye episode, no farewell scene, no message to fans. One day he was there, the next, he wasn't. At first many thought it was temporary. Maybe a short break. Maybe he was working on something private. Maybe he was sick or traveling. But as more episodes aired without him, people started asking serious questions. Forums lit up. Fan pages speculated. "Where's Ryan?" became the most common comment under old clips and photos. No one had answers, so people filled in the blanks. Some thought there had been a falling out with Danny. Maybe a disagreement over money. Others believed he was tired of the cameras and the constant pressure of TV. A few even worried about his health, though nothing was ever confirmed. More rumors circulated. Some said Ryan had opened his own custom paint shop. Others thought he'd taken a job with another big-name builder in Las Vegas. One theory claimed he'd moved out of the city completely, living a quieter life off the grid. None of these were ever confirmed, but the longer he stayed away, the more people talked. What made it even harder was that counting cars never addressed it. No on-air goodbye. No farewell scene. No mention from Danny or the crew. Just silence, but fans noticed the little things. It felt like he had vanished. And as the silence stretched on, it hurt more than the exit itself. Ryan had always been quiet. He never sought attention. So when he went quiet, it didn't seem strange, until it lasted too long. Eventually, bits of truth started to emerge, not in headlines, but in small details shared by people close to him. Those in the Las Vegas car scene said Ryan was doing fine. He was still painting. Still doing what he loved. He just wasn't doing it for television anymore. According to people who worked near him, the reason came down to one thing: time. In the early days of counting cars, Ryan had freedom to create. Paint jobs weren't rushed. He had time to get them perfect. Every detail was checked. Every design had meaning. He treated each build like art, and the producers allowed it because the results were worth the wait. But television changed. As the show grew more popular, the pace became brutal. More deadlines. More episodes to shoot. More pressure to produce. Projects that used to take weeks were now squeezed into days. Ryan tried to keep up. But for someone who cared so deeply about every detail, the change was painful. He wasn't just a painter, he was a craftsman. When that level of care was no longer possible, something broke. Painting under pressure is normal in the car world. Many builders deal with tight timelines. But for Ryan, the work was deeply personal. If he couldn't give a job his full attention, if he couldn't step back, look at it, and feel proud, it didn't feel right. When the joy started slipping away, the meaning went with it. Some say he could have stayed and adapted. He could have delegated more. He could have accepted the faster pace. But that wasn't Ryan. He never wanted to just finish a job, he wanted to make something special. Walking away wasn't easy. He had spent years helping shape the look of the show. His work had become a core part of what made counting cars stand out. But in the end, he chose peace over pressure. This wasn't about fame or money. Ryan never seemed interested in either. He didn't care about trending clips or reality TV drama. He cared about the paint, and about getting it right. When that became impossible, he stepped back. Some fans still hope for a clear explanation. They want a statement, a final word. But Ryan hasn't given one, and maybe he never will. That silence, in a way, says everything. His decision to leave wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, a choice to protect his craft from becoming something he no longer recognized. According to those who've seen him recently, he seems at peace. He still takes on select projects. He collaborates with local builders. He mentors younger artists. The work hasn't stopped. Only the cameras have. Ryan's world now moves at his own pace. No producers watching the clock. No deadlines forcing corners to be cut. Just him, his tools, and the metal in front of him. Some say he might return to television someday. He hasn't ruled it out. He's hinted that he'd consider it, but only if the format lets him stay true to who he is. That means no shortcuts, no forced drama, just the work. If that happens, fans will welcome him back in a heartbeat. But if it doesn't, that's okay too. He's already left his mark. His paint jobs still roll down streets. His influence still shapes young artists learning the trade. Ryan's choice wasn't about giving up. It was about knowing his limits. There's something powerful in that. In a world that tells people to keep pushing no matter what, Ryan did the opposite. He paused. He listened to himself. He stepped back when the joy started fading. That takes courage. Most people don't know when to walk away. They keep going, even when the thing they love starts draining them. Ryan saw it coming, and made a quiet exit before it took everything he loved about his craft. He didn't leave behind a press release. He left behind a legacy. His airbrush work still inspires. His videos are still rewatched. His name still comes up in forums, at shows, and in shops where artists study his style. What Ryan showed us is rare. It's okay to choose quality over speed. It's okay to care deeply. And most of all, it's okay to walk away when the work stops feeling right. Counting cars. After Ryan left, when Ryan Evans quietly stepped away from counting cars, something fundamental shifted. It wasn't just the shop that felt different, the entire show changed. At first it was hard to explain. The episodes still had roaring engines, wild paint jobs, and that classic Vegas energy. Danny, the Count, Koker still walked in wearing sunglasses and swagger. The crew still built amazing machines. But the heart of the show felt lighter. Like a weight had been lifted, or maybe removed. Longtime fans noticed right away. Not everyone could pinpoint what had changed. Some just said, "It doesn't feel the same." Others missed the quiet moments where Ryan would airbrush perfect flames or add tiny skulls to a custom tank. On paper, the show continued like nothing happened, until it ended in 2021. Danny still took in builds, made deals, and showed off his collection. The rest of the team, Horny Mike, Kevin, Shannon, was still there. They all had their charm. Mike brought the wild ideas. Kevin kept things running. Shannon stayed steady. The team worked well, but many fans felt something was missing. The truth is, Ryan was never loud, but he balanced the noise. While others laughed, argued, or played to the cameras, Ryan stayed focused on the art. He gave the show its soul. Without him, Counting Cars began leaning more toward entertainment and less toward craftsmanship. There were still incredible builds, but the process felt faster. The paint jobs looked good, but fans said they missed the depth. the little touches only Ryan used to bring. Forums, comment sections, and social media groups filled with questions. Some fans wondered if Ryan's departure had changed the crew's dynamic. Some thought the show had become more about drama and less about the craft. Others were kind, saying the show was still good, just different. No one blamed the crew. They were doing their best. But Ryan had left a space no one else could fill. Over time, a few new painters and artists appeared. Some were talented. Some brought fresh ideas. But they came and went quickly. There was never a true replacement. It felt like the show knew it couldn't recreate Ryan's presence, so instead they focused more on the deals and the builds. The art became more of an afterthought, which disappointed many viewers. A few fans stopped watching altogether. Some stayed, but skipped through parts, hoping for even a short glimpse of Ryan walking through the shop. That glimpse never came. His absence was complete. No cameo. No flashback. No behind-the-scenes mention. It was as if the show had moved on without looking back. That silence hurt more than the exit itself. Fans had followed Ryan for over 10 years, watching his growth, seeing him take on bigger and more ambitious builds. Some people even got tattoos of his artwork. Having him vanish without even a moment's goodbye felt cold. It left fans wondering if something more serious had happened. Rumors kept spreading. Some thought there had been a major falling out behind the scenes. Others believed Ryan had simply grown tired of the pressure. A few even worried about his health, though no reports ever confirmed it. Meanwhile, Counting Cars kept going. It tried new ideas. Some episodes focused more on motorcycles. Others followed car hunts around Vegas. Danny still brought passion. He still got excited over rare finds, yet the shop scenes, especially the painting moments, became shorter. The quiet beauty of watching an artist at work was gone. Even the pace of the show felt different. In earlier seasons, builds took time. Viewers saw every step: sanding, taping, mixing colors. Ryan often explained why he chose one design over another. After he left, those deep dives became rare. Fans said the build started looking TV-ready instead of Ryan-ready. The show still had strong episodes. Some builds turned out stunning. The crew still cared. That never changed. What did change was the sense of balance. Without Ryan, there was no calm in the storm. The show had energy, but it lacked stillness. People kept asking Danny in interviews if Ryan would ever return. He always gave kind, respectful answers. He praised Ryan's talent. He never spoke badly of him. Yet he never promised a return. That silence felt like acceptance, like even Danny knew some chapters close, even if you don't want them to. Behind the scenes, those close to the shop said things were still good. The team stayed busy. Work kept coming in. Cars kept rolling out, but the vibe had changed. Some said the energy was louder now, less focused. Others said it was simply a new era. Fans online kept Ryan's name alive. They posted old clips. They shared photos of his builds. Some even painted tributes in his style. It became clear his influence stretched far beyond one show. Younger painters said they learned by watching Ryan. Custom shops across the country knew his work. He had left a mark on the entire world of automotive art. Many, Ryan was more than a character. He was a reminder that real talent doesn't need to be loud. His quiet approach gave the show weight. It made it more than just another car show. It made it feel personal. So when fans look at Counting Cars today, they still respect the team. But Ryan's legacy was never about big exits or bold announcements. It was about showing up, doing the work, and letting the results speak. That's why Counting Cars after Ryan left was still good, but never quite the same. Ryan Evans after Counting Cars. After Ryan Evans left Counting Cars, many expected a big announcement, or at least some kind of proper farewell. Instead there was only silence. It felt like he stepped off the set and vanished into thin air. For a man who had once been at the heart of the show's success, his exit felt unfinished and strange. People close to him say Ryan returned to his own world after leaving. He began taking on personal projects again. Some were quiet commissions. Some were just things he'd always wanted to try but never had time for. He also started helping younger artists, showing them techniques without asking for credit. There were no cameras filming his every move. No production team rushing him through jobs. Just paint, metal, and peace. It's important to understand, Ryan didn't leave because he hated the work. He left because he wanted to protect it. The pressure of television, the need to finish complex pieces in just a few days to meet filming schedules, the growing demand for drama over craft, had slowly taken something from him. Not just time, but meaning. What used to be deeply personal had started feeling mechanical. He was no longer creating for the love of it. He was racing against the clock, trying to fit his art into someone else's timeline. Ryan has always taken his work seriously. Every project was more than a job, it was a story he wanted to tell through color, texture, and detail. His paint jobs carried weight. They carried emotion. Some were tributes. Some were memorials. Some were just beautiful machines given even more soul through his hands. Losing that connection was something he couldn't accept. So instead of changing how he worked, he changed where he worked. After leaving the spotlight, Ryan chose to live differently. He no longer chases big television audiences. He chases something simpler, freedom, calm, and the ability to create without pressure. He doesn't need to be seen to know he's still an artist. He knows it every time he lifts a paint gun and brings a design to life. His social media accounts, once full of show-related content, have grown quiet. But every now and then a new post appears, a close-up of ghost flames on a tank. A sneak peek at a mural in progress. A metal flake finish so smooth it reflects the sky. These images remind fans that Ryan's talent never left. If anything, it's grown stronger in silence. Some fans have run into him at smaller local car shows. They say he's calm, kind, always happy to talk about the art of painting rather than the business of fame. He doesn't travel with an entourage. He doesn't pose for attention. He stands by his work, lets people ask questions, and keeps things simple. Most are surprised by how approachable he is. Others say that even though he's no longer on television, he still carries the same energy they saw on screen, focused, grounded, quietly brilliant. Over time Ryan has built a new rhythm for his life. He takes on only the projects that truly speak to him. There's no need to please producers or worry about camera angles. If a job takes 2 weeks or 2 months, it's done when it feels right. That control has brought him a different kind of success, not measured in ratings, but in joy. It's also worth noting that Ryan has never completely ruled out returning to television. In interviews and through people close to him, he's hinted he might consider it one day, but only if the format allows him to stay true to who he is. That means no shortcuts. No forced drama. Just the work. If such a show ever exists, we may see him again. Until then, he's exactly where he wants to be. Ryan's absence left a hole in the custom car TV world. Fans still talk about him online. His name still carries weight, not just as a painter, but as someone who stood for something rare, authenticity without ego. In an age where everyone chases attention, Ryan walked away from it, choosing truth over trend. For those who grew up watching him work, his story remains powerful. Young painters mention Ryan as their inspiration. They learn not just technique from him, but patience, pride, and the importance of doing things the right way. His steady hand and quiet focus have become part of the culture he helped shape. Ryan Evans may no longer be part of counting cars, but his legacy keeps rolling. It lives in the curves of a perfect flame job, in the shine of a flawless fade, in the stories fans still tell when they remember their favorite builds. Fame fades, influence sticks. Ryan didn't just build cars. He built trust. He showed us that passion can be quiet, and greatness doesn't always need a stage. In the end, Ryan Evans chose peace over pressure, purpose over spotlight, and truth over performance. That decision, more than any paint job or episode, may be his greatest masterpiece. Do you think he'll ever return to television? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Before you go, check out our other videos on the Counting Cars crew and behind-the-scenes stories from the custom car world.